Welcome back to Inside Sources for the interview conversation segment of the show. Today, I have an unusual politician, somebody who is a business leader in the oil and gas sector, who has ventured into politics. I'd like to welcome to Inside Sources, Mr. Tonye Cole, MNI, a notable Nigerian business leader and the co-founder of Sarah Group. My brother, you're welcome to Inside Sources.
Laulu, you're looking too good.
Well, that's a new one. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, it's a pleasure.
So we normally start by me asking my guests, if you look at where Nigeria is today, do you think that we are heading for the future that most of us believe is the destiny of Nigeria?
You know, that's such an interesting question. Over the last 3-4 years, I have actually gone to what I'll call the founding fathers of the current democracy that we have, the military leaders who were presidents, who handed over. And I asked them this question. I said, when you were, after the Civil War, you know, all young Nigerians discussing what democracy, what Nigeria would look like, do you think we're where you envisaged us to be?
Oh, wow.
I've asked this question, and without fail, every single one of them has said no. That we're not. Then the next question is, what went wrong? And that's a bit more sensitive.
Yeah.
Because something, it is more nuanced. Something went wrong. And you can tell in those questions when I ask that there's a deep desire to want to correct some of those wrongs. But their time is past. It's now for another generation. And the onus is now on us. What is our own vision for Nigeria? Are we going to be sitting down in another 20, 30 years and the younger generation will be asking us the same question? And so the truth is that no, we're not where we are. There has been progress, but not the kind of progress that we should get. So I think that we have a very big task if we want to see the kind of Nigeria that we know we ought to be, but we're definitely not there.
Very interesting perspective. I like, that the fact that you've actually spoken to some of these guys, and this is their view. So how do you think we can make a difference? Now, you did say that it's now a new generation, but not everybody agrees that the old guys have given up. Of course, we just had 8 years of President Buhari, who was in his 40s, head of state, and then came back in his early 70s as president. So not everybody really believes that there has been that transition. But in a sense, you are right. I mean, I think people like you are in politics, they are younger people. So in your own view, how do you think we can, what are the things that we ought to do to change course?
One of the things is that I seem to sense that there's a very big disconnect between Nigeria as an entity and the ownership, right, of the changes, just ownership of making Nigeria better. We seem to have found ourselves in a place where it's every man for himself. So people are very individualistic about their progress in business, in politics, in education. You will pursue education for your own edification, not because you are pursuing it to make a difference
In the community.
for the community. Politics are found to be the same. Many people who I have encountered within the political space are primarily doing it for their own, whatever it is, their own agenda, their own interest. Not because there's an interest of the people, an interest of the nation. And so when you ask that question, for me, the fundamental shift is that can we begin to see Nigeria as an entity that we actually collectively own and belong to and want to see it progress? Once we can shift to that, then maybe we'll be getting there.
Interesting. So what do you think it will take for us to shift? I mean, and of course, I think we get to that point. You have taken a very bold step, traversing from your many successes in business to go to politics. And you've been doing a battle, since 2019. I mean, people like me watch you from the sidelines and commend your courage. What has to happen to make that mind set shift?
Shift. And again, another excellent question. And I'll just take life from even when I was in school, in secondary school, university. There's something that my father always used to say, and then I didn't like it because I was not those students that came first. And so you will hear the question that the person who came first, does he have two heads? So you know, I heard that. You heard it. That means you are very good.
Oh my God! I was just telling my wife this 40 minutes ago.
But if you go back to the principle of what they are saying there, it essentially is saying that, look, there's an example of what good is.
Yeah.
There's an example of what progress is. And if you have the right example leading,
Right.
then others will follow. If the example at the front is not good,
Of course.
you have a problem. And so when we think about it, success and the following
Right.
of a successful model depends on who is in front. Who are those that are leading? And are they carrying a sacrifice, a servant leadership principle? Do the people who are voting, the people who you are administering over, you are governing over, when they look at you, they look at your lifestyle, they look at the way you talk, the way you behave, do they actually see that you are for them? Or do they see that you are for yourself? If the question and what they see is that, you know what, you are for yourself, and that yourself is that you are really benefiting, what do you think they will do?
Yeah.
Their own mindset will be, let me to get there.
Yeah. And get my own.
That this is a channel for jollof, quick enjoyment. When I get there, I can do my own. And
very profound point.
We need to change that mindset. So the type of leadership, when God has blessed us to lead, then we need to reflect that, you know what, there are people who are watching.
Yeah.
And what are we portraying to them? If it's about largesse, if it's about just enjoy, then people will aspire to that. Not because they want to serve. And that's where the difference is.
Very, 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 very profound insights that you are offering. So, in your own experience in politics, I recall that you were the candidate in 2019 for APC River State and also in 2023. 2019, you couldn't even be in the ballot, even though you had won the ticket. 2023 was a much different. How do you describe your encounters in politics? I imagine that some of these things are from there, but in more specific details, what have you seen? How will you describe the nature of Nigeria's politics and the nature of Nigerian politicians?
So there's nothing like a vacuum in life. If you decide that you're going to vacate a space, then others would come into the space. And I think one of the biggest problems that I realized as coming into politics was that many people who stay outside of politics and criticize politics do not even have any idea
what's
happening within the political space. So the first thing that I saw is that we needed to draw in more people who can come into the space to enhance and build that space. The Nigerian political space is very interesting, and I think it's the same all over the world, but Nigeria more so, in that every single decision that is made within that political space has a direct impact on you and I.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Now, if you decide the best of the best, whatever you are, whether you are the best in economics, the best in business, the best in oil and gas, you go all over the world, you do the biggest business and all, but you stay out of politics, then believe me, whatever you get, you really cannot complain. And so, between 2019 and 2023, the two elections that I saw, one of the things that keeps me going is that I say, if people see that there is an ability to survive, ability to stay the course, then they too will be more interested in coming into the game. We need to bring a more diverse group of people into the political space. And that's the agenda that I'm on.
Pursuing. Interesting. Very, very, very exciting responses that you are giving us. So you are still in APC.
Yeah, I'm still there, focused.
Of course, I also served, as you know.
I know you did.
I served with the vice president. I don't consider myself a politician, and that's why, the courage of people like you and Professor Ochibajo is quite very formidable. But I agree with you that we need good people. We need people who have this community sense and community value, public interest in the place. But if I ask you now, so what is the situation of APC in your state?
It's one of the most dangerous precedents for any democracy, what I have seen happen within the River State's polity.
Yeah.
And it should not be encouraged. What you should not encourage is being in one party,
Yeah.
acting on another party,
Yeah.
destroying this party so that you can build this one. It creates confusion in the minds of everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. We're a young democracy. Very young. 25 years in the scale of anything. Very, very young democracy.
Yeah.
Which means that we're going to be learning along the way. We'll make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And no problem with that. That's what life is. Human beings are to learn and all of that. But one of the things that you want to be able to create as you move along is what is the ideology with which one party stands for and another party does not. I believe that after this number of years,
Right.
an ideology should be forming whereby people should say, okay, you know what? If we're in
this
party A,
this is what...
these are the kind of things we should expect. If we're in party B, this is what we should expect. If we're in party C, this is what we should expect. And what that does is that it begins to draw people, right, of like minds into a space, and an ideology is formed around it. What River State politics is telling everybody is that forget all of that. Forget the fact there is nothing like party A, party B, nothing like that. What it is that it is purely about personal interests and where the personal interests can be served. If you can be served with one leg here and one leg there, fine. If you can be served with destroying this one while I'm still here, fine. Just do whatever you like, however you like it, whenever you like it, as long as the interest is served and power is retained. I think that's very, very dangerous.
It is.
I think so.
It is.
So power must be sweet and intoxicating to those who have it. It must be, but that is not what this should be about. We've been given a responsibility by human beings who voted for you, people who asked you to go and represent them, either as a candidate or whatever, and by God Almighty who gives power at the end of the day to any individual for whatever reason. That he chooses and says that, okay, you are the one, whatever reason.
Right.
So we accept it. Now, the minute you have gotten into that space, the responsibility on you must be that, you know what, others who are coming behind, what
are they going to see? What am I showing them?
What am I showing them? I think River State has a lot of work to do. Because it's setting the tone for what we're seeing in Nigeria. And I don't think it's the right example.
It's not. It's not. So your membership of APC in River State doesn't align with this, I'm trying to remember his name, the guy who used to be chief of staff to Wike, who is now the chairman of the party. I can't remember his name.
The point is that people are, today we get up and say, we have resigned from PDP. We're all in APC.
And then
the next minute, say, no, we're not in APC,
actually,
we're in PDP. I don't think, I think River State is not a good case. It will be a good case study in a few years about what not to do.
But how do you think this is going to end up, this river thing? What's your own prognosis, if you have one?
It's difficult. It's very difficult to tell. We have to see where the governor ends up. On the one hand, a deal has been made, an agreement has been made, and all of that. So the governor comes back. Now, is the governor going to remain in PDP or is he coming to APC? Would he be in PDP but act as APC?
APC.
What exactly is going on? Where would the house be and all of that? So I think River State is still very, very open. It's still very confused, and people will require some clarity very, very soon. But that clarity can only begin to come to bear once the sole administrator has left, the governor has come back, and then we start seeing
What's the direction?
Who is really in charge? Who is really running River State?
You know, which brings me to the issue, and you know, this I will make a point that I've made again, but I want to make it so that you can make your own reaction. I think that the president has powers under the Constitution to declare state of emergency, but there is no place in the Constitution that gives the president the power to ask an elected governor or state assembly to go and sit down. You know, people say, oh, he didn't remove his suspension. You know, whatever it is, you know, I don't think the president has, I think it's an overreach of executive powers. What's your view about the state of emergency and the suspension of the governor in Rivers State?
You know, I've heard so many opinions from legal minds and no legal minds. Is it something that should have happened or should not have happened? Is it according to law or not according to law? I find it very difficult to determine whether that's what the law said or not, because I'm not a lawyer. It's very difficult to do. You have an attorney general that must have advised the president that this is the right thing to do. And I thought that if there was going to be a challenge on that, that we had very strong legal people who are advocates, who are activists, and all of that, who would challenge it. They wrote a lot, they said a lot, but nobody went to court on it.
Yeah.
Which leads me to think that...
So I think the PDP governors actually went.
Then what happened?
But exactly.
What happened?
They essentially abandoned the case in the Supreme Court.
Yeah. So what happened? So I felt that, look, again, I said that we're a young democracy. So whether it's an overreach or not, whether it's tempting or attempting to test something that is not clear, which is what happens in politics.
Right.
You see something, you're not sure, is it left or right? You test it. But it's who pushes back against it that matters. In this particular case, you had PDP as a body. And you mentioned the PDP governors, it was their responsibility to say, no. This is an overreach. They didn't. As governors...
Well, they said, they said they've been in court. The matter is in Supreme Court, by the way.
Okay.
But there has been no... they've not said... Supreme Court has not set a date. And, you know, actually, my guest last week, Professor Odikalu, said that, you know, it was their own responsibility as PDP governors to make a political issue of the fact that we've brought this matter to Supreme Court. You guys are not scheduling a hearing, you know.
So what does that tell you? You see, so for me, I don't think your opinion or my opinion matters in this case. What really matters is that there's a process. Political parties are set to check each other.
Yeah.
That's why they're there.
Yeah.
Governors are sitting down and looking at themselves and saying that, this can be me.
I might be the next victim.
I might be the next victim. So is this something that I should leave hanging, or should we actually find out what it is so that we know how to behave moving forward? If I was a governor today, that's what I would be thinking about. I'll say, okay, you know what? If this is the case and it's not clear, why don't we test it? Not because I'm against the president or against what the process itself, but I would like to know clearly that this is what it says. By the time you get to the Supreme Court and push it, let's assume the Supreme Court comes back and says that it is legal.
Yeah.
He did not overreach. The Supreme Court will write a very clear judgment that now becomes what Constitution will carry.
Yeah.
Every other administration from now to the kingdom come until it changes will know that this is...
That's the precedent.
If it goes the other way and they say, Mr. President, you overreached, again, there'll be a reason for it. Then we will not be having this argument.
Yeah. You're very correct, and but one of the things that I noticed, and by the way, the Attorney General is, older than me, but all of us were in Ibadan. And what he said, when they asked him the day the president did that, was that, well, look, we have to put on our patriotic hat. Great man, somebody that I really admire. But, that wasn't the kind of response I was expecting. I was expecting him to say that, look, yeah, the president has the power to do it. But he said that, hey, we have to put on our patriotic hat. That what do you expect the president to do? Which goes back to what you said, that, people are up and down over this.
I believe that recently we saw an article, the vice president made a comment because something like this apparently had happened before.
Yeah.
And there was an Attorney General, I believe it was Adoke at the time, under Jonathan, who had an opinion on this same matter.
Right.
And Jonathan
had to step back.
So I think, believe me, my own opinion is that this is something that needs to be addressed fully because it's a lacuna.
Yeah.
On the one hand, one Attorney General says you cannot do it. On the other hand, another Attorney General says that you can do it, albeit for patriotism.
Yeah.
One says you cannot do it because of democracy is not constitutional or whatever. We're now in that space. This is where the Supreme Court or the judiciary as a third arm of government comes in.
Yeah.
Their own responsibility is to interpret clearly what looks like opaque lacunas and address it. And it's up to them. We're waiting. You say it's in Supreme Court.
Exactly, yeah.
We'll see.
Although it's taking so long to even schedule a hearing, which is also indicative. So in your relationship, those of you that are in APC in Rivers State, do you have any kind of interaction with APC National, to talk about some of these things, some of these controversies, these contradictions in Rivers State? Do you have, are you able to conduit messages to the president, who is the leader of the party, about some of these things?
APC in Rivers State has its own factions as well. So there are factions within APC, PDP, APC. I'm not sure which one.
Somebody will say PDAPC. That is what, when we put it well, that, we are evolving, 25 years.
Evolving.
Well, I wanted us to also talk about, as we are wrapping up, I wanted to talk about business. You are a guru in the oil and gas, especially energy sector. So I thought, we should also, get a few of some of your ideas, especially regarding oil and gas. We have some very serious problems in that important sector. There is oil theft. Even the level of productivity has been, so we are celebrating 1.5 million barrels a day. Come on, and then there are no investments. So how do you think we ought to recalibrate that sector, which is very important to our economy? A huge aspect of our foreign earnings is from there, and we all know it's the mainstay. What do you think ought to happen in that sector?
My answer would be that every sector in Nigeria is a reflection of what you see at the leadership political level. Okay? I found out over the years, wherever I went, that I cannot be ranked higher than my country's ranking. If my country is perceived to be poor, no matter how much money I have, when I go into any business meeting, they already look at me from where my country has started. This is something I discovered in business, and I discovered the importance then, and it's part of the reason why I'm in politics. I discovered that every country, no matter how small that country is, no matter how far they have in their own GDP ranking, if that country's ranking in terms of corruption, good governance, ease of business, if it is high, the businesses and the economy in that country is good. The biggest struggle that we have in Nigeria in attracting investment in business and all of that is that we first have to struggle from a very low place to even be seen, to be heard, before you now have to struggle to ask businesses to come, investment to come. It's unnecessary. So what needs to change? The first aspect of it, right, is that the mindset of government and the mindset of our economies and mindset of those of us in politics should be that what do we say and how do we project our country and how do we make sure that the rankings that people use when they're first going to determine where they're going to send money, that those rankings have to come up. When we looked at this, when I was at NIPS doing studies, every ranking that I saw in Nigeria for anything that we wanted to write in policy and all of that was abysmal.
Wow.
It used to just break my heart. You are sitting there writing a policy paper, you have to go into the rankings, you have to look for it. As soon as you look for Nigeria, anywhere you're looking for Nigeria, we are just somewhere at the bottom. Now, this for me, right, is the base. But everybody has a vision and a goal. And so I look at it and I just say, okay, this is where we are. If we wanted to address this thing, rankings and all of those things are very deliberate things that you can tick off.
Yeah.
So you sit down and you say that what are the issues that we need to tick off if we want to increase our ranking in this? 1, 2, 3, 4 are the key things. You know what? You, Mr. Laudo, I'm going to put you in charge of this department. In 2 years, 3 years, I want you to have cleared these things. And once you clear it, you find out that the minute you start doing those things, money, business, it chases, you don't have to go running after money. Create the opportunity, create the environment, it will come and look for you. It will come and look for you. A few weeks ago, I was invited to Spain to come to the IE University there to come and discuss
in Spain.
In Spain, Madrid. So they paid for my ticket, paid for everything. He said, come, we have a group of sovereign wealth fund people here. They want to invest in Africa. They look at the rankings, they look at the map, they look at population, they look at economy, they look at all of these things. And they have selected, they want 4 countries, 2 in West Africa, 2 in North Africa, that they want to invest in. Senegal, Nigeria, Morocco, and Egypt. They have $13 trillion to spend.
Wow.
Not all of it is going to come to Nigeria, but they come to Africa, but they want to send, they're looking at the world globally. And they see that the place that needs the most in development and has the biggest opportunities is Africa, and that these 4 countries need the most. But they have a problem. I said, what's your problem? See, it's too opaque. They cannot see.
No clarity.
No clarity. So can I come and help them demystify this whole space so that they know how to bring the money and come in here? You know, the demystification and clarity for investment is not difficult. It's not difficult, but it requires very resolute determination from the top.
Yeah, it does. It does. And the president says that we are going for a $1 trillion economy.
It's very possible.
You know, but economists, I mean, based on our recent GDP, the first quarter of this year, I think 3.1 or so, and every economist saying that, well, you know, at this rate,
we won't make it.
Except we get to like 15%.
But you see,
growth rates.
The truth is that all of those things are possible, but there are specific indicators that you have to look towards, and you have to be very determined that you are going to meet it. And it takes sacrifice, it takes some pain somewhere, but most importantly, it's not about talking. It's not the talking that changes it.
Right.
It's the doing.
It's the doing. It's the doing.
It's the doing. So when I'm sitting down and looking at you, are you doing more than you are talking? Or are you talking more than you are doing?
Okay. last question, because of our time, I wanted you to do this. I know you're an APC member, you have experience in politics, you've made quite a lot of inroad in business. If you were to have an opportunity to say to the president, after his 2 years, what do you think he should do with the remainder of the 2 years?
The first 2 years has been about very macro scale changes, big changes, whether it's in foreign exchange, whether it's in fuel subsidy, big major tax, very big things. What Nigerians care about now is that all of these big things must trickle down
To them.
in the pocket. The next 2 years, just take a step back and start figuring out, how does the man at my gate, how does all of this trickle to him? How does he feel that he's a part of this whole process called Nigeria and that it is making a difference in his life? That's what he needs to do.
Interesting. It's a very good place to put it. Mr. Tonye Cole Hemenai, politician and successful business leader. Thank you for coming to Inside Sources. Thank you for your work. Thank you for believing in Nigeria enough to want to go and take a stick out your neck to fix it. Very, very commendable. Thank you for your contribution to national development, and thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
Thank you. I don't believe 30 minutes is gone already, but
It is.
time flies when you're having fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.